Total of 5,866 hijackings were reported across the country within that period in 2022. So let's delve even further into this, going back to Gareth Edwards out at the intersection of Jan Smuts and Willem Nicol, where we know that it's a hijacking hotspot, one of at least right here in Johannesburg. That's a worrying statistic, 22 every 22 minutes. And you mentioned it earlier on, G, didn't you? Reminding our viewers that that siren bell will ring. And that's just to create that awareness that wherever you are in the country, be aware, take note that a hijacking or a carjacking has just taken place.
Yeah, absolutely. Good morning, Timsa. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back once again to, sadly, what is one of the most hijacked and smash and grab intersections in Gauteng. There are many of them. We'll unpack them with Yusuf Abramjee in a moment. The intersection that I'm standing at, if you look behind me, our offices are just to the left over my left-hand shoulder as well. And the reason for that is this intersection is uniquely laid out, and there's various factors. Oh, excuse me, while I stand here with no jacket on. There's various factors that lead to a hijacking, and obviously criminal syndicates can target an area like this as well. Because if you look around here, we have one set of robots very close to this set of robots, which is close to that set of robots. Then you've also got multiple entry and exit points as well. Now, I know that, of course, because of Yusuf Abramjee. We were talking off air about this. We'll talk to him in a second. But just to remind you about the siren, that tone that you're going to hear every 22 minutes. It started at 22 minutes after 6, and then it goes again at 44 minutes after 6. So if we look at the watch at the time now, it should be in the next 3-4 minutes. So if you hear a random siren going off, Tumza, as you said, is to remind everybody that another vehicle has been hijacked in South Africa. In fact, on time, that is the siren that we're going to be running throughout the morning here on the SA Morning. Another vehicle, as I sit here talking to you, another person has been hijacked. A traumatic experience for anybody. Yusuf Abramjee, crime expert, crime analyst, and host of Crime Watch on ENCA, joining us this morning. Yusuf, always good to talk to you. First of all, can we just talk about this particular intersection? You had quite a lot to say as to maybe why it's such a problem area. Good morning. Why do you think this is such a hotspot?
Good morning, Gareth. Well, the corner of Willem Nicol and Jan Smuts historically has been a problem. As you can see, the vehicles are coming from different directions, and criminals try to get an easy getaway. So what they would do is they'll loiter around here, and the minute they see an opportunity to do a smash and grab, they'll grab your valuables, run to a nearby corner where there will be a waiting car, and then speed away. Just a few kilometers from here, you have the Willem Nicol N1 intersection. Again, the car will wait at an embankment. Criminals are always trying to be creative. They are looking at new ways, and all they're trying to do is to make sure they get away with your valuables and that the police do not arrest them.
Yeah. Let's talk about the police for a second. I spoke to Dr. Stephen Gordon a little earlier from the HSRC, Human Sciences Research Council, and it's the trust in the police. And I'm glad you mentioned the police. The trust in the police, we know, generally has been low. It seems to be at an all-time low, especially, Yusuf, when it comes to hijackings. Why is that?
Well, first of all, let's place on record that there's a lot of good cops, a lot of hard-working, passionate cops, but you have many who are also corrupt. Those that take bribes, those that are simply useless at what they are doing. No wonder many crimes do not get reported. We know with smash and grabs, Garrett, for example, many people say, unless it's for my insurance, I'll go and report it, because we know that the cops will do very little. When it comes to hijackings, we have a serious problem. If you look at the numbers as reported on ENCA this morning, a 14% increase year on year. Yes, last year we had COVID, but the worrying trend is that now the modus operandi is when they hijack you, they'll take you captive, they'll kidnap you. And in that few hours where they're holding you, they'll try to find a tracking device, they'll try to empty your bank accounts. And it's really become a problem. This past weekend, we've had about 4 incidents where people in Gauteng alone, where people were taken captive, luckily released a few hours later. And these criminals go for certain times, their modus operandi varies, but they're going for orders for certain vehicles. Some of them are very popular, and like we reported on Crime Watch last night, they're now using a very worrying trend called relay attacks or key fob technology, where your car can be stolen within seconds, even without them pointing a gun. So they simply intercept your remote signal while you're there. They've got these devices that cost a few $1,000. They drive away with your car. Police have made some breakthroughs this weekend, but probably a lot of work still needs to be done.
And can we just talk as South Africans for a moment? Because as I stand here, this car right behind you over your shoulder, that person has their window open. And yes, there are criminal elements. And I've actually counted while we were standing here, so I keep looking off camera. There's another vehicle, window open. I can count 3 cars with their windows open in Gauteng, in Sandton, at this intersection as well. Is there really anything we can do? I don't imagine having your window open is a great start, though.
Well, Gareth, it's such an important question. People ask themselves the question, why have I become a victim after the fact that you could have done, or you could have taken some precautionary measures? We know it's hot. We know there's a heat wave. People, all of them don't want to use their air cons, but these are the simple rules. Always be alert. Try not to keep your window open when you come to an intersection or when you're in traffic. And peak hour traffic is always a target for these criminals. Many people talk on their cell phones while they're driving, or at an intersection, they're busy texting while...
I've got a young lady there busy brushing her hair behind us as well.
And probably doing makeup in traffic. And people leave their laptop, their valuables on the front seats, their handbag at the bottom there. And that is an invitation for these criminals to strike. So what they will do is take a spark plug, smash it through your window, and within a second or 2 or 3, they'll make away with your that thing. Before you know what happened, they're already gone. Putting in a smash and grab shield or film is always advisable, but at the end of the day, never keep your valuables, your possession in sight of these criminals. Conceal them, hide them away, lock them up in a boot. Similarly with car jamming. If you stop at a filling station or at a shopping center, they jam your car, you go inside, you come out, and then your valuables are stolen because they know they are valuables, and these cell phones and these laptops are sold on the black market for anything from 50 Rand to 200-300 Rand.
That actually happened to me a couple of years ago on the smash and grab thing. Got out the car, locked the car. I heard the noise, but I didn't pull the handle. The little lights flashed, and I heard the little clicking sound, and they managed to jam my car from there as well. So you've got to be, as they say, it's easy advice, but we forget it. Physically check your door as well. You made such a good point when we were talking before we went to air. How big an issue is the load shedding right now? Right now, there isn't load shedding, but blackouts are going to kick in again from 4 o'clock. That's great timing for rush hour traffic in the afternoon. How much of an issue is the blackouts and hijacking and just crime in general?
Well, indications, Gareth, are that during load shedding, especially at night, in the dark, the crime levels go up. House robberies, burglaries, and even theft at intersections. Remember, criminals do not like light, because that is how you can identify them, and that is where they can try to get away with the ill-gotten gains. So always take the precautionary measures. So they say try to get a generator if you can't afford one. Get a light that is solar driven that can help you. And the indications are burglaries, especially, are up during the period of load shedding. So load shedding most certainly is contributing to the high levels of crime that we are seeing in South Africa at the moment.
I suppose the problem is the criminals also get the load shedding schedules, don't they? They know exactly when to hit as well. I just want to end off our conversation, Yusuf, on the hijacking from the proactive side. Yes, we spoke about the windows. I've now counted, there's number 9. That gentleman has his window open as well. I'm sure I'll find more as we go along. What do you do if you find yourself in a hijacking situation? Instinctively, you want to A, protect yourself, and B, you want to fight back. But what is the real way to handle this?
Remember, always we say your life is more important than your vehicle. You can replace your vehicle, you cannot replace your life. The golden rule is be very, very alert. When you're going home, and there are certain trends within the criminal syndicates where they're targeting certain times, certain areas, and crime moves from area to area. So this could be a hotspot for the next few months. They move down the road, and that's how they go around the country. When the heat is on them, they go to a different area. Make sure that, for example, when you go home, look in your rear view mirror. If somebody is following you, do not stop. Go around the block. Go to a filling station, drive to a police station. If you come home and you see somebody standing there who looks suspicious, do not stop. Just keep on driving to a nearest area. At intersections, for example, if somebody is driving or somebody is walking up to you and you get the feeling you might be vulnerable, rather take the traffic fine and drive away from the traffic light if it's safe, and go to a nearest police station. And again, the golden rule is always be alert. Do not fight back. If you see an opportunity to fight back and your life is at risk, it's worth doing it, but rather do not fight back, and rather let your car go, and you can replace the car.
Yusuf, I do need to say goodbye, but you just sparked something in my brain very quickly. There's a syndicate at the moment that are posing as police officers at roadblocks. What is someone supposed to do, just as briefly as you can? What do you do in a situation like that?
Blue light gangs are on the increase. We've had 2 incidents on the R55. On the N14, the West Rand Police Commissioner arrested a fake cop the weekend with fitted blue lights. The Mid-Rand area, the N1 especially, is a major problem. If you are worried that this guy is not a real cop, put on your hazards, flag him to follow you to the police station. If you are convinced it's a fake cop, take all the means to protect yourself and your family. But again, indicate and flag to the person, follow me to a lit up area, especially a filling station or a police station. Try not to stop, and we've had an increase in blue light gangs. These gangs are on the prowl. It's a worry.
It's a big worry. Yusuf Abramjee, wonderful insight as always, host of Crime Watch on ENCA. If you missed the episode last night, by the way, you can go and find it on our website and also on YouTube as well. Crime expert, crime analyst Yusuf Abramjee joining us, Tumza. And as I continue to talk to you, there's one vehicle window open, there's another one window open as well. So it's the basics of just protecting yourself against things like hijackings, especially at a hotspot hijacking area like this in Sandton. We're going to speak to more experts again later in the morning.
Yeah, thank you so much, G, for that conversation. It's really thought-provoking. And actually, when you asked the last question around when to know if, a police car or van is a legit a one and not a fake one. It reminded me of, you remember the time we were doing the results center at the Rock out in Pretoria during, the results after the local government elections. I was stopped, and the times that we have to drive to work, I was stopped at 2-3 a.m. by a car, a police car, and I think only after I drove off, then I thought that was dangerous. I should have definitely put my hazards on and just flagged because I was scared. But I just thought, what, maybe it is the real one. But you never know. In this country, you just never know. So thank you for posing the question, partner. It just sparked as well an experience of mine. Perhaps you've been in the same experience thinking you're safe, but it seems these criminals are very, very creative and quite brazen out there. So make sure you are aware. That's the message for the entire day, for the show. Make sure that you always stay alert. All right.